All right there now. It's your man's and them foul shot, and I'm reporting on the Bamboozle Again News Network. And where do I begin? It just, we had the inauguration and, the TikTok ban. It'd be so much to delve into. I really don't be having time. And at this point, I ain't gonna say I done gave up, but I already kind of, in a general sense, know the game plan of the New World Order. So to, critique every single situation they come up with, I just don't feel the need to do that. They're gonna do what they do anyway, and the Most High allowed on the door. And I would like to believe at the appointed time, we'll get a spiritual inkling to move a certain way, to do this or not do that. So always, for me at this point in time, for always categorizing what the kingdom of Beelzebub and them doing, I don't even care no more, yo. Like, man, do it. You know what I'm saying? I'll adjust, or, you gotta be adaptable. Like Bruce Lee said, you gotta be like water, right? But in light of, TikTok being banned and then restored within, 24 hours, I realized, I've been realizing, but the government play games with the populace every day, B. And again, after, Trump got, I think it was a staged event, me, myself, the first time he got whizzed at. And then he arose up mighty in valor, right? And then, they ban it. Then he reinstituted, or whatever the case may be. He ends up looking like the savior. I think this is the same junior type tactics that the Antichrist will use. Because they say they'll purposely make the world so bad that somebody will come out of nowhere and seem to have all the answers to the problems they've created. And by that time, they'll have everything digitalized and track and trace and all that good stuff. I don't even care nothing about that, yo. It just diverts me from my primary purpose and focus. The will of the Most High and my purpose here on earth. And not despising humble beginnings. You know what I'm talking about? But, what I realized, and I seen little flashes here and there on social media of people, going ape poop over the TikTok ban. I get it. Anytime, let's say, a financial resource is absolved, you're going to feel some type of way. But here's what I realized, though. They've turned social media into digital heroin / fentanyl, where if you don't get your fix, or you can't log into an app, life ain't even worth living no more. I seen rhetoric online, like the police was doing wellness check on folks because TikTok was shut down and this, that, and the third. It goes again, and I'm getting to a greater degree and clarity of detachment. That's why I'm kind of like, indifferent. You know what I'm saying? I got it, okay. I don't got it, okay. When I'm going to replace this with not having it. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime they can just toy with the people like this here, just like how it's like every 3 to 4 months they come out and say, oh, we're going to have a government shutdown. And then they always pass some bill, you know what I'm saying, 1 minute before the government's supposed to. They've been doing that for years. You know what I'm saying? Always keep you in this heightened sense of anxiety and fear and what's going to happen next. And, man, run it. It don't make me no damn mind at this point, yo. And I'm kind of, I'm used to being kind of destitute to some degree or not being socially accepted. So again, I'm realizing, with the various talking point of isolation, the rejection is actually for your protection. Because I'm noticing, I got a personal story, right? So, it's just amazing how, now mind you, I ain't super egotistical or nothing like that. And I'm always mindful to check that and stay humble. That way I gotta get humble. But just, I really don't have a whole lot of people in my personal life who have personal access to me, like calling me or, things of that nature. And I got a blanket of people I know through social media, whatever the case may be, right? But I got a right-hand man homeboy, right? And I be saying stuff and joking, but it actually be true, and then the truth really gets revealed in their behavior, right? So I got a homeboy, I've known him since 2018 in Baltimore, right? So, we sham on each other online, you know what I'm saying? He got his campaign going, you know what I'm saying? Doing well for himself now. And I ain't above nobody or nothing, but being that I was kind of out in society before him, I was kind of just, we rapping. I'm like, well, this how I move, and this how I see modern dating, you know what I'm saying? Granted, you might have to experience it first. Somebody can tell you something, but like with me, I got experience, it'll be in the back of my mind, but I gotta see this for myself first. So cuz, all right now, right? So, I talked about on here about like my treatment journey and getting railroaded by these folks and getting my money stolen and this, that, and the third, right? So I always made jokes about, he'll take pictures with whoever, right? I don't really group up like that. To each his own. So I noticed he always takes pictures of what I like to call the ops, which is like the entities or the individuals who will be responsible for stealing my money that was allotted to me by the state. Trump may rectify all that. Shameless plug. Anyway, so I will always, in a joking way, like, you know what I'm saying? I know you know something or whatever. I don't know nothing. I'm like, how you don't know? Again, P. Diddy tactic. You're around these people, but you don't know nothing about them when somebody asks you a simple, direct question about it. But I get it. You run with them people for social acceptance purposes, I'm assuming, or you might even generally like the people. But here's my thing. If I'm running with somebody and they moving in a way that isn't in alignment with my values and principles, I'm going to have to, go ahead and distance myself. Because when they come down the pipe, they're going to say, you was with them. You know what I mean? And, and I'm seeing a lot of click hopping. And see, again, another hardwired thing that nobody taught me. Let's say I got a group of friends. I'm the type of individual, I bang with the folks I walk in the door with. It ain't no we get up in the establishment. Now, we might individualize, pull our different moves, but we still click tight. Ain't no somebody offer me an opportunity, and then I just discard the people I've known or got some rapport with that we got to this point with. I'm the type, I'm going to ride the horse I came in on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So out of nowhere, I've been, post, I tag him and stuff, laughing, joking, whatever. But like a week ain't responded, but then he'll respond to other stuff or just make random posts, but he won't respond to me. So I'm like, oh, maybe he's busy or, work, whatever. But then he did it like a week. So I'm like, what do you think I don't know what he, like, being dismissive of me? Because everything I've told him, not in no, like, preeminence kind of thing, or just like, if I know some information I know it to be true, I just share it with my mans and them. I ain't trying to make it seem like I'm smarter than you or I know more than you. Each one, you know what I'm saying? That's the problem in the black community. We don't share information that we know to be valid from a competent source. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of, whatever, advise about how to move or, kind of breaking off and finding your own lane and muscling up your own campaign, not being relied on others, not believing what people tell you when you don't see them behave, whatever, right? So, like I say, it goes for like 7 days or whatever. Well, he don't realize I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Especially not no man. I don't care about nobody on earth ghosting, other than, important people, because my first ministry is my home, right? So I don't care nothing about that. So, but I would make these jokes, right, where we shamming on each other, and then every time he would like sham saying something, I would then call out the tactic. Like I would call, in Baltimore, they the yo. So I'm like, come on now, gaslight yo. You know what I'm saying? Or come on, projection yo. You know what I mean? I kind of tease him about, there's another guy who's from this area who now sits on the board, and he's not the most masculine dude, you know what I'm saying? So he'll make insinuations jokingly about, my sexuality or whatever, right? But then I'm like, well, you saying, that, right, in a joke. There's a whole lot of truth in a joke. But the main man who we both agree isn't the most masculine dude, you take pictures with him, and he got his arm around the small of your back. What's up with that, cuz? Or like say they got a little rehab softball league, primarily, white guys, whatever the case may be. But one of their things is, if you strike out, I don't know how you strike out in an adult T-ball. If you strike out, you got to put on a tutu. So he put the tutu on, take a picture of it, put it on Facebook. So of course, I'm a fraud. So I'm like, cuz, I'm talking about now you starting to act like Meek Mill, you know what I mean? Now, had it been the Negro T-ball league, and Negro said put the tutu on, you'd have went hard in the paint, you've been ready, squabbling all his head. But when it's the white folk organization, you proudly put it on and put on a smile. Man, go ahead, cuz. And now I was saying, like, boy, they got you, cuz. You know what I mean? And you run with the folks stole my money. So I told him, man, you got to pick a side and stay there. But here's what I'm highlighting, and this is why the rejection is for your protection, right? Because so I had another homie reach out to me, right? Now I would, make jokes about, the people at this institution stealing my money. You know what I'm saying? That was government funded. You know what I mean? So another homie, they used to work at the same job. So now he had left, but he got railroaded because he had found, or they come to discover he knew some stuff that they wanted to keep on the hush hush. So they ended up actually, now they was coming to his job paying him hush money, where my other homeboy worked at too, right? But he was telling me how they railroad. I guess they got tired of paying him. So of course you gotta do UAs, piss tests or whatever. And then one of the bully coon Negroes who's in charge said he pissed dirty for weed or whatever. When he's like, yo, I don't even smoke weed. That's not my issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess his thing was like opiates or whatever the case may be. So he tried to fight, but he was so tired of it, he just left and went on about his business. Now he alright. But he was just saying that the same bully coon dude was like, well, I guess to get some dirt back on him, was like, well, if you give me a couple $100, we can sweep this under the rug. And again, these are the people who are supposed to help you in leadership, but have no leadership capabilities, ethics, morals, moral compass, none of that. They just get a badge, and then the badge changes their identity. But Lord forbid, somehow the badge get taken. Like that Shawshank movie. Remember when the older dude finally got out of jail? He was super old. He got back to society. He was right back to his homies that's still locked up and be like, man, everything moved fast out here, da-da-da. But the key point was, he said, I'd rather be back in jail. Because at least in there, I got an identity. At least in there, I'm somebody. Out here in the world, I ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no power out here. You know what I'm saying? Message. So I asked the homeboy, right? So I laid on the information for a minute. He said something. So I was like, yo. And this is where, if you ask people a simple, direct question, they can't never answer. I said, yo, somebody told me you was physically present when they was getting paid hush money by the same people you run with that you say you don't know nothing about. What's up with that, cuz? He never answered the question, right? But I already know the answer. Somebody else told me that. They say I got a habit of asking questions I already know the answer to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm taking it as a joke. I ain't taking it serious. And I already kind of know where you at with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just cool, sham on somebody, kick it. Somebody you know from the battlefield, whatever the case may be. But one monkey don't stop no show. And I've had issues, like one time my child, and my daughter mother, who I don't speak to now. And then, they try to gaslight you and all this here and woo or project onto you. And I'm like, I don't care nothing about nobody on earth not speaking to me. I've been in here from nobody. I know how to, how Beyonce said, become my own best friend. And it's not like y'all not speaking to me because I done did something. Y'all not speaking to me because y'all trying to work me and I ain't going for it. And then you think you punishing me by not speaking to me. You done did me a favor. And how the old folks say you'll need, not an ego, but you'll need me before I need you. Because when I really needed folk, wasn't nobody really there to help me mentally or to deal with grief, pain, loss, and near-death experiences and, just my personal issues of not living up to my potential. And so I had to fight all that in my mind by the power of the Most High. Whenever I had an issue, that's who I had to go to, which I believe that's what he wanted anyway. That's why he set the situation up like that. You know what I'm saying? But now, granted, at the same time, we're all interdependent. As I like to use the analogy, let the trash man not pick up the trash for 3 weeks. You'll see how much you need him. You know what I'm saying? But all this overinflate, and I noticed this in groupish, cultish kind of church. Maybe your cliques at the job, or especially in treatment, and these various NAAA groups. They group up and then everybody act like they king poop on Turd Island, right? Because maybe they've, which is good, maybe they got some new gear or they finally got a home they can call their own. And granted, that's great. That is super great. But then when they're not in the midst of that particular environment, to me, it ain't nobody perfect. I don't see, and one thing I notice is a lack of humility. Very seldom do I see when people own up to when they wrong. Or when, you know what I'm saying? Everybody the creme de la creme, if you will. But to me, be inwardly bankrupt and devoid. That's why they always got to be around folk like that. Now, granted, isolation is, and I've gone through it for, really, to some degree, since I've always been on earth. Even if I'm around people, I felt kind of mentally isolated or whatever the case may be. But now, granted, in this space and time we at, where the back doors become a thing and you see, groups of friends, Xing each other out for opportunity, like they never know them and this, that, and the third. All the stuff the Most High, put me through that made no sense to me, now is as valuable as gold now because this ain't nothing new. I've been trained in it. It's normal now. You know what I'm saying? Granted, at the same time, I'm also in wisdom open to new opportunities, people, places, things. But I can't really run with nobody who I don't, I'm not in alignment with. I know we talk about being equally yoked in the sense of maybe the opposite sex, but you can be unequally yoked with your social grouping. That's why I had to leave a job. I said, man, everybody make mistakes or lose their way or whatever the case may be. And you might even make a couple mistakes and struggle in that area and just be contrite and humble about it. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm struggling, Joe. You know what I mean? I don't see none of that. It just amazes me with my spiritual inkling that I've always had, how people can do the most reprehensible of acts and still walk around with their chest out. That always used to amaze me. That's why I think I was addicted for so long. Because get drunk, you do something dumb, you get drunk to deal with it instead of just naturally going through it. Then in the midst of doing that, you do something else dumb. It becomes a reciprocal action. You know what I'm saying? But then I would have to drink to be able to hold my head up high because I know I'm some poop. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't do a whole lot of stuff now that might be quote unquote tempting. Because I don't want to have to wake up and not be able to look myself in the mirror or go to sleep and have a problem sleeping because I did something I ain't had no business or whatever, or something lingering and I got to make it right. You know what I'm saying? But this goes back to the word where it talks about, people's consciences and whatnot being eroded with a hot iron. You know what I'm saying? This lovers of pleasure, lovers of themselves, boastful, proud about stuff that you shouldn't be boastful and proud about. Unshameful, truce breakers. You know what I'm saying? Shucks, the list goes on and on. Not exemplary any fruits of the spirit. Gentleness, meekness. Especially, I guess, because of maybe the agenda against masculinity. You try to counterattack that by going beyond the mark. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will, blow my top. But ain't no reason to do that. But everybody tell me they feel comfortable in my presence. Or operate with a certain, what is meekness, strength, under control. You know what I'm saying? And that's a skill, we have to hone and be mindful of. Because there's a whole, like, with this, narcissism and all that, and them trying to trigger you purposefully and going through whatever lengths because they don't care nothing about that. They just want to get an emotional reaction out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to figure, how inwardly depleted can you be if my sole purpose on earth is to do something to get an emotional reaction out of them so I can get me some energy? Dang, Joe, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's just, what they talk, the separating of the tares and the wheat. And here it is now. It helps me understand this in a new aspect where the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal, but they're spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I've known it, like, they look like somebody I've known, but not realizing their software program has been corrupted by the matrix virus. So they still look like the computer still look the same, but now it's operating different. Not realizing it's been spiritually hacked. You know what I mean? So if anybody leave your life or don't speak to you, and then let's say hypothetically, I don't know, which will probably happen, they'll start hitting me up and do all that. I'm going to do the same thing. Like, I'm not responding. This ain't that cutting. You know what I'm saying? And we can keep it like that. And it's not even on no tit for tat or nothing like that. It's staying focused on the mission. Because people will play these reindeer games with you subtly and just, oh, man, I was just playing, or give you a small wild excuse. Nah. We ain't finna do all that. Granted, something going, you know what I mean? But that ain't the case. I think it's done. And I can tell when people do stuff on purpose. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's crazy too. Like, in these people depleted mind, they thinking something as petty as that is going to move you off the path. When the Most High has dug your feet into the cement and poured rebar and concrete around it. What they say, unshakable, unmoving. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no boogie, dog. Excuse me, huh? A little cold out here. Why you ain't tell me? But yeah, it's real in the battlefield. But now, because I'm coming to understand that the whole game is spiritual, I'm not, of course, be angry and sin not, but it's almost like when Neo started seeing everything in ones and zeros. Like, I see this for what it is, not what you portraying it to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might meet the sister or whatever, and she love bombing and all that. You know what I'm saying? Now it would be lovely to be love bombing to be genuine, but now you probably grown, as far just understand the wisdom, and you know it's a tactic. So I just say it for what it is. It's not real. Technically, they say the spiritual realm is more real than the physical realm. Technically, ain't none of this real. You know what I'm saying? Now you really go like when Neo was in the Matrix, something happened in the Matrix, it would affect him outside of the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? But as he grew in his understanding of the Matrix, they couldn't do, they couldn't do nothing in the Matrix, and it didn't affect his spirit that was outside the Matrix. And on that note, I just come through with a quick one for y'all, man. Don't even worry about this, that, and the third. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Because then what you'll see with this Trump stuff and all that, you'll probably have the stay on the plantation left Negro. I seen one, they talk about the bus going around, we're going back in the field. You might go back in the field. The field ain't destined for us. You know what I'm saying? But they don't preach on none of that. And I understand why. Sacrificing yourself to the idols of Rome and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That's who Trump start remind me of, Emperor Nero. And they got them fires. And I've been seeing for years they've been setting fires like food processing plants and all this here. But I think eventually at some point, because there's supposed to be a persecution of the church, right? So what if they start doing all the fire and then because ain't nothing new under the sun, and then they just blame it on the same people who are probably stopping the world from tipping all the way over. God's chosen people. Who else you gonna blame? I get the blame for stuff I ain't had nothing to do with and wasn't even there for. No, you can't take no accountability. Let's blame them. That's a spiritual thing. Because they have to have a reason to go after you. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it play out. Stay tuned. Get you some popcorn. It's going to be awesome. One love, baby. I'm signing out. Ooh-ah!